Hey warriors, stop for a second. Right now, take a breath and ask yourself this. What if the life you're grinding for is actually keeping you from living? What if all this chasing, proving, and fighting to become someone is just stopping you from being who you already are? Most people are running, sprinting towards some future version of themselves they think will finally be enough. They're working harder, pushing further, sacrificing more, all for that moment when they can finally exhale and say, I made it. But here's the problem. That moment never comes, because the finish line keeps moving. The goalpost shifts. What you thought would be enough suddenly isn't, and you're back on the treadmill, exhausted but unable to stop. You wake up every morning like you're behind, like you're losing a race everyone else is winning. You measure yourself against impossible standards, and somehow you always come up short. Not thin enough, not successful enough, not confident enough, not together enough, just not enough. Period. And underneath all of it is this gnawing feeling that you're wasting time, that life is happening somewhere else to other people, and you're stuck here waiting for your turn, waiting to be ready, waiting to be worthy, waiting for proof that you matter. But what if I told you that waiting is what's killing you? Not the circumstances, not the challenges, the waiting, the believing that someday, when you finally achieve enough, fix enough, become enough, then you'll be allowed to feel victorious. Then you'll get to breathe. Then you'll get to be at peace. That's the trap. That's the lie that keeps you small, because victory isn't waiting for you at the end of some achievement. It's available right now in how you choose to see yourself and walk through this moment. Not through delusion, not through pretending, but through a fundamental shift in understanding what winning actually means. There's an ancient philosophy, born in the hardest circumstances imaginable, that teaches something radical. The game you think you're playing isn't the real game. The real game is internal. It's about who you become while everything around you falls apart. It's about standing firm in yourself when the world is chaos. It's about being unshakable, not because nothing touches you, but because you've stopped needing external things to feel complete. This isn't motivational fluff. This isn't positive thinking. This is about recognizing that you've been playing by rules that were designed to keep you feeling inadequate. And the moment you see those rules for what they are, you can stop playing that game entirely. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 truths that will fundamentally change how you see yourself and your life. These aren't theories. These aren't ideas to think about later. These are principles that, if you actually apply them, will shift everything. How you show up, how you make decisions, how you handle pressure, how you see winning and losing. If you're exhausted from feeling like you're never enough, this is for you. If you're tired of postponing your life until some perfect future, this is for you. If you're ready to stop performing and start living, stay with me. Every single word here is designed to break you free from the mental prison you've been living in. Before we go further, do this. Hit that like button, drop a comment below, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel because what's coming will change everything. And don't skip any part of this video. If this resonates with you, write below, I am already victorious. Let's begin. Number 1. Stop auditioning for a life you already have. You're auditioning, right now, for a role you've already been cast in, trying to prove you deserve a life that's already yours, seeking approval for an existence that doesn't require anyone's signature. Every time you hold back in conversation because you're worried about what they'll think, every time you downplay your achievements because you don't want to seem arrogant, every time you apologize for taking up space, every time you perform for validation, you're auditioning. And here's the truth that'll set you free. The audition was never real. Nobody gave you this life conditionally. You weren't issued your existence with a clause that says you have to earn the right to be here through achievement, beauty, success, or likability. You're here. That's it. That's the whole requirement. You're already cast in the lead role of your own life. Stop trying out for it. Think about how much energy you burn every day trying to prove yourself, crafting the perfect response, choosing the right outfit, saying what you think people want to hear instead of what's true, measuring your worth by reactions, likes, approvals from people who are too busy auditioning themselves to even notice you. It's exhausting, and it's completely unnecessary. There's an old story about a king who dressed as a beggar and wandered his kingdom. He spent days bowing to his own subjects, asking for their approval, hoping they'd see his worth. The tragedy wasn't that they didn't recognize him. The tragedy was that he forgot who he was. That's what you're doing every time you seek validation. You're the king dressed as a beggar, asking strangers if you're allowed to access power you already possess. Living as if you've already won means remembering who you are, not who you'll be when you achieve more, not who you'd be if you were different, who you are right now. A conscious being having a human experience, someone with inherent worth that doesn't fluctuate with circumstances. You don't need to audition for anyone, not for love, not for respect, not for opportunity, not for belonging. You show up as yourself, fully and unapologetically, and whoever recognizes your value gets access to you. Whoever doesn't, that's their loss, not yours. This doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. It means you stop waiting for external permission to claim your space. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop performing to be chosen when you've already chosen yourself. The audition is over. You got the part. Now play it like you mean it. Stop waiting in the wings for someone to call your name. Walk onto the stage of your own life and take your place. Not arrogantly, not apologetically, just firmly. With the quiet confidence of someone who knows they belong here. Claim this truth in the comments. I belong here. Number 2. Your peace is non-negotiable. Everything in your life is negotiable except one thing, your peace. And yet, that's the first thing most people trade away. For money, for acceptance, for relationships, for opportunities, for the illusion of control. You negotiate your peace every time you say yes when you mean no. Every time you stay in conversations that drain you. Every time you accept treatment you know you don't deserve. Every time you betray yourself to keep someone else comfortable. And here's what you get in return: stress, resentment, exhaustion, and a life that looks successful on paper but feels hollow inside. You get applause from people who don't really know you. You get achievements that don't fill the void. You get everything except the one thing that actually matters: the ability to rest in your own skin. There's a concept in negotiation called BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. It means you never enter a negotiation without knowing your walkaway point. The moment when you say, "This deal costs more than it's worth. I'm out." Your peace is your best alternative to a negotiated agreement for life. It's your non-negotiable. The moment any person, situation, or opportunity requires you to sacrifice your inner calm, you know the price is too high. You walk away, not with drama, not with anger, just with the clear recognition that nothing outside you is worth losing what's inside you. Most people don't walk away because they're afraid. Afraid of being alone, afraid of missing out, afraid of seeming difficult or ungrateful. So they stay in jobs that crush their spirit. They maintain friendships that feel like obligations. They accept love that comes with conditions and chaos. But here's what fear doesn't tell you. The cost of staying is always higher than the cost of leaving. You think you're preserving something by tolerating what hurts you, but you're actually destroying the most valuable thing you have, your sense of self. Living as if you've already won means protecting your peace like it's the last thing you own. Because in many ways it is. Strip away everything else and what remains? Your inner state. Your ability to be okay regardless of external chaos. That's the prize. That's what victory actually looks like. This doesn't mean you become cold or isolated. It means you become boundaried. You become clear about what you will and won't accept. You become someone who understands that real relationships, real opportunities, and real love don't require you to betray yourself. Your peace is the foundation everything else is built on. When it's solid, you can handle anything. When it's compromised, nothing else matters. Not success, not money, not status. Nothing feels right when you've lost your center. Stop negotiating. Stop trading. Stop selling yourself short for people and situations that don't value what you're offering. Set the boundary. Walk away when you need to. Choose yourself, not selfishly, but wisely. Because a person at peace is more valuable to this world than a person who's accomplished everything while losing themselves. If you're setting this boundary, let me see. My peace comes first. Number 3. Winning is what you walk away from. Society measures success by what you accumulate, how much you've gained, how high you've climbed, how much you've added to your life. But real power, real wisdom, that's measured by what you've learned to walk away from. Anyone can add. It takes no strength to say yes to everything, to chase every opportunity, to hold on to every relationship, to accumulate possessions, commitments, and complications. Addition is easy. Subtraction is where the real work lives. Walking away from a toxic relationship, even though you're afraid of being alone. That's winning. Walking away from a high-paying job that's killing your soul. That's winning. Walking away from the need to be right in an argument. That's winning. Walking away from revenge when you've been wronged. That's winning. Most people can't walk away because they've confused their worth with what they're holding on to. They think letting go means losing. They think walking away means failing. They think saying no means missing out. So they stay. They endure. They suffer in silence while calling it commitment, loyalty, or perseverance. But there's a difference between perseverance and prison, between commitment and compromise, between loyalty and self-abandonment. And knowing that difference is what separates people who live powerfully from people who just survive. There's an ancient teaching about the monkey trap. Hunters would hollow out a coconut, put food inside, and attach it to a tree. The hole was big enough for a monkey to reach in with an open hand, but too small to pull out a closed fist. The monkey would grab the food and refuse to let go, trapping itself. Freedom was always available. It just required releasing what it was holding. That's you. That's all of us. Trapped by our grip on things that aren't serving us. Jobs we hate, but won't leave because of the salary. Relationships that hurt us, but we won't end because we've invested too much time. Beliefs about ourselves that limit us, but we won't question because they're familiar. Grudges we won't release because we think our anger is protecting us. Living as if you've already won means understanding that the true trophy isn't what you collect. It's what you're wise enough to release. It's having the strength to say, this doesn't serve me anymore, and the courage to walk away, even when it's hard. Every master of life is also a master of letting go. They don't cling, they don't force, they don't hold on to people, outcomes, or versions of themselves that no longer fit. They release with grace what needs to go, trusting that what's meant for them won't require them to betray themselves. Look at your life right now. What are you holding on to that's actually holding you back? What relationship, belief, commitment, or possession is keeping you trapped? What would freedom look like if you had the courage to open your hand? For those ready to release what's holding them back, I walk away with strength. Number 4, you're building a reputation with yourself. Everyone's obsessed with their external reputation. What people think, what shows up when someone searches their name, how they're perceived at work, on social media, in their community. They manage their image like a brand, carefully curating what the world sees. But there's another reputation being built that matters infinitely more. The one you're building with yourself. The private scoreboard that tracks every promise you make and break to yourself. Every time you said you'd start and didn't. Every time you knew what was right and did what was easy instead. This reputation doesn't live in anyone's mind but yours. No one else is tracking it. No one else knows when you compromise it. But you know. And that knowledge, that internal credibility, is the foundation of everything else in your life. Every time you hit snooze when you said you'd wake up early, you're making a deposit into the account of self-distrust. Every time you scroll when you said you'd read, you're voting for a version of yourself you don't respect. Every time you stay quiet when you should speak up, you're teaching yourself that your voice doesn't matter. And the opposite is true. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it, you're building trust with yourself. Every time you honor your word to yourself, you're proving you're someone you can count on. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're becoming someone you're proud to be. This internal reputation is what determines your self-confidence. Not affirmations, not positive thinking, not other people's compliments. Real confidence comes from having evidence that you're reliable, that when you tell yourself something, you mean it. That you're not just full of talk and empty promises. Think about people you trust in the outside world. Why do you trust them? Because their words match their actions. Because they do what they say they'll do. Because they've built a track record of reliability. That's the same relationship you need with yourself. Living as if you've already won means treating promises to yourself as seriously as promises to others. Maybe more seriously. Because if you can't trust yourself, you've lost your foundation. If you can't count on yourself to show up, to follow through, to do what's hard, then nothing else matters. Your external reputation can recover from almost anything. People forget. Time passes. You can rebuild what others think of you. But your internal reputation, that's with you every moment, in every decision. In every quiet moment when no one's watching except the person looking back at you in the mirror. Stop breaking promises to yourself. Stop saying tomorrow when you mean never. Stop betraying the one person who has to live with you forever. You. Start small. Pick one thing. Do it consistently. Build evidence that you're someone worth trusting. The victory isn't in impressing others. It's in becoming someone you respect. Someone whose word to themselves actually means something. That's the reputation that changes everything. If you're building trust with yourself, declare, I keep my word to me. Number 5. Your standards create your reality. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you tolerate. Read that again. Everything in your life right now, every relationship, every circumstance, every situation exists because on some level you've accepted it. The disrespect you're experiencing, you tolerated it once, so it continued. The mediocre effort you're surrounded by, you accepted it, so it became the standard. The life that feels smaller than you know you're capable of, you've been willing to live there, so there you remain. This isn't about blame. This is about power. Because if your tolerance created your current reality, then changing your standards can create a different one. Most people have standards for what they want, but no standards for what they'll accept. They dream big, but tolerate small. They want respect, but accept disrespect. They want growth, but settle for comfort. They want excellence, but make excuses for mediocrity. Your standards are the invisible fence around your life. They determine what gets in and what stays out. They're not about judging others. They're about honoring yourself enough to say, "This is the minimum I will accept." Not because I'm better than anyone, but because I know my worth. Low standards don't protect you from disappointment. They guarantee it. When you accept less than you deserve, you're not being flexible or understanding. You're training the world to treat you as optional, as someone whose boundaries don't really matter, as someone who says one thing but accepts another. There's a principle called the water level. If you put a boat in water, it rises to the water level, not higher, not lower, exactly to the level of what's beneath it. Your life rises to the level of your standards, not your hopes, not your potential, your standards. Living as if you've already won means having winners' standards, not in arrogance but in self-respect. It means deciding what you will and won't accept, and then holding that line even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. This shows up everywhere, in how you let people speak to you, in the effort you accept from others, in the work you're willing to put your name on, in the environments you're willing to stay in the excuses you're willing to accept from yourself. Raise your standards and everything else rises with it. Not immediately, not without resistance, but inevitably. Because the universe responds to what you demonstrate you'll accept, not what you say you want. Stop tolerating what you've been tolerating. Stop making excuses for people who consistently show you who they are. Stop accepting behavior that violates your values. Stop staying in situations that require you to shrink. Set the standard, hold the line, walk away from what doesn't meet it, not angrily, not dramatically, just firmly, with the quiet certainty of someone who knows their worth isn't up for negotiation. Your reality will adjust. It always does. Those raising their standards affirm this: I deserve better. Number 6. The battle you're avoiding is making you weak. There's a conversation you need to have, but you're avoiding. A decision you need to make, but you keep postponing. A truth you need to face, but you keep pretending isn't there. And every day you avoid it, it gets heavier. Every day you run from it, it gets stronger. Every day you pretend it doesn't exist, it takes more of your power. Avoidance feels like protection. It feels like you're keeping yourself safe, but you're not. You're keeping yourself stuck. You're trading temporary comfort for permanent weakness. You're choosing the pain of staying the same over the pain of change. The thing about avoided battles is they don't disappear. They wait, they grow, they compound. That difficult conversation doesn't get easier with time. That hard decision doesn't become clearer by ignoring it. That fear you're running from doesn't shrink while you hide. Most people spend their entire lives running from the same 5 or 6 battles: the conversation with their parent, the ending of a dead relationship, the career change they know they need, the boundary they need to set, the truth they need to speak. They spend decades building elaborate systems to avoid what could be resolved in a single moment of courage. And here's the cost. Every avoided battle drains you. Not obviously, not dramatically, but constantly, like a leak in your gas tank. You wake up tired, you feel anxious for no clear reason, you're irritable, you're distracted, because part of you is always standing guard, making sure that thing you're avoiding stays buried. You know what takes more energy than facing your battles: avoiding them. You know what's harder than having that difficult conversation: carrying the weight of not having it for another year. You know what's more painful than change: staying the same while pretending you chose it. Living as if you've already won means facing what you've been avoiding. Not because you're fearless, but because you understand that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something matters more than your fear. Winners don't avoid hard things. They walk toward them. Not because it's easy, because it's necessary. They understand that the growth they want lives on the other side of the discomfort they're avoiding. That person you need to confront, face them. That truth you need to speak, say it. That relationship you need to end it. That risk you need to take it. That help you need to ask for, ask. That forgiveness you need to offer, give it. Will it be hard? Yes. Will it be uncomfortable? Absolutely. Will you survive it? You've survived every hard thing you've ever faced. This won't be different. The moment you stop running and face what you've been avoiding, something shifts. Not just externally, internally. You reclaim power you didn't even realize you'd given away. You become someone who doesn't hide from their life, someone who meets it head-on. The battle you're avoiding is the exact battle you need to fight to become who you're meant to be. If you're done avoiding, commit below. I face it now. Number 7. You're not broken, you're unfinished. You've been treating yourself like a problem to fix, like something's fundamentally wrong with you, like you're damaged goods that need to be repaired before you're allowed to fully participate in life. And that belief, that single belief, is costing you everything. You're not broken, you're in process. You're not defective, you're developing. You're not a finished product that got damaged. You're a work in progress that's exactly where it should be. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once a beginner. Every person you admire struggled with the same doubts, fears, and failures you're struggling with now. The difference isn't that they were special or chosen or naturally gifted. The difference is they didn't quit on themselves when things got hard. We live in a world that shows you everyone's highlight reel and none of their struggle. You see the finished painting but not the hundreds of failed attempts. You see the successful business but not the years of barely surviving. You see the confident person but not the nights they cried themselves to sleep, wondering if they'd ever figure it out. So you compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's show reel and conclude something must be wrong with you. You must be broken. You must be the only one who struggles this much. You must be fundamentally flawed in ways others aren't. That's the lie. That's the trap. That's what keeps you small. Living as if you've already won means understanding that you're exactly where you need to be to get where you're going. Every failure is teaching you something success never could. Every setback is redirecting you towards something better. Every moment you feel lost is actually you finding your way. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not ruined by your past or disqualified by your mistakes. You're learning. You're growing. You're becoming. And that process, that beautiful, messy, uncomfortable process, is exactly what's supposed to be happening. Stop waiting to be fixed before you start living. Stop believing you need to be perfect before you're allowed to try. Stop treating yourself like you're not good enough yet. You're good enough now, not because you're finished, because you're willing to be unfinished and show up anyway. The Japanese have a concept called kintsukuroi. When a bowl breaks, instead of throwing it away or hiding the cracks, they repair it with gold. The bowl becomes more valuable, more beautiful, because of where it broke. The cracks become part of its story, its character, its worth. That's you. Every crack, every break, every place you think you're damaged is actually where your light gets in. It's where your character is formed. It's what makes you real, relatable, and remarkably human. You're not broken. You're breaking through. You're not falling apart. You're falling into place. Trust the process. Trust yourself. You're becoming exactly who you need to be. For everyone in process, remember, I am becoming. Number 8. Your silence is agreement. Every time you stay silent when something's wrong, you're not keeping the peace. You're giving your approval. Every time you witness disrespect and say nothing, you're not being diplomatic, you're being complicit. Every time you swallow your truth to avoid confrontation, you're not protecting the relationship, you're betraying yourself. Your silence speaks louder than you think. It tells people what you'll tolerate. It shows them where your boundaries actually are, not where you claim they are. It teaches the world that your comfort matters less than their convenience. And here's what happens. You become invisible in your own life. You watch things unfold that violate everything you believe in, and you say nothing. You experience treatment you know you don't deserve, and you accept it. You see opportunities to speak truth, and you swallow it, all in the name of avoiding discomfort. But that discomfort doesn't disappear. It just moves inside. It becomes resentment, frustration, self-loathing. That quiet voice that whispers, "Why didn't you say something? Why do you always do this? Why are you so weak?" The cost of your silence isn't paid by others. It's paid by you, in your self-respect, in your sense of power, in your ability to look yourself in the mirror and recognize the person staring back. Most people stay silent because they're afraid. Afraid of conflict, afraid of being disliked, afraid of rocking the boat, afraid of the consequences of speaking up. But they never consider the consequences of staying silent. They never count the cost of betraying themselves repeatedly in the name of false harmony. There's a difference between choosing your battles wisely and avoiding all battles out of fear, between being diplomatic and being dormant, between strategic silence and cowardly silence. And you know the difference. You feel it in your gut every time you choose silence when your soul is screaming to speak. Living as if you've already won means using your voice, not recklessly, not cruelly, but honestly. It means saying the thing that needs to be said, even when your voice shakes. It means standing up for what's right, even when you're standing alone. It means refusing to participate in your own erasure. This doesn't mean you become aggressive or confrontational. It means you become honest. You say, "That doesn't work for me." You say, "I see this differently." You say, "I need to address something." You say, "This isn't okay." You speak not because you expect to change others. You speak because silence changes you into someone smaller, someone quieter, someone who matters less, starting with how much you matter to yourself. Your voice is your power. Your truth is your weapon. Your willingness to speak is what separates people who live on their own terms from people who live on everyone else's. Stop outsourcing your voice to fear. Stop letting discomfort silence what needs to be said. Stop trading your truth for temporary peace. Speak, even if it's uncomfortable. Especially if it's uncomfortable. If you're reclaiming your voice, say it, "I speak my truth." Number 9. Waiting is the real risk. You think you're being careful, strategic, waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right level of readiness. But you're not waiting, you're hiding. And calling it wisdom doesn't make it less destructive. The right time doesn't exist. The perfect moment isn't coming. The day when you feel completely ready will never arrive. Because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And waiting for the feeling is just fear wearing a disguise. Every day you wait to start that business, someone else starts theirs. Every day you wait to have that conversation, the distance grows. Every day you wait to make that change, you're choosing to stay the same. And staying the same while pretending you're preparing, that's not strategy, that's self-deception. We've been taught that risk is in action, in trying, in putting yourself out there. But the real risk is in waiting, in postponing, in letting years pass while you gather courage that only comes from doing the thing you're afraid to do. You want to know what's risky? Dying with your dreams still inside you. Reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent it preparing instead of living. Looking back and seeing all the moments you said someday when you could have said today. The people you admire didn't wait until they were ready. They started before they felt ready and became ready through the doing. They took messy action. They failed forward. They learned by trying, not by planning to try someday. Living as if you've already won means understanding that the starting line is the finish line. The moment you begin is the moment you've already succeeded. Not because the outcome is guaranteed, but because you've overcome the biggest obstacle there is, inaction. You're waiting for confidence to take action, but confidence comes from action. You're waiting for clarity to make decisions, but clarity comes from decisions. You're waiting to feel brave before you move, but bravery is moving while you're scared. Every single day you delay is a day you can't get back. Every opportunity you postpone might not be there when you finally decide you're ready. Every person you're waiting to connect with might not be available when you finally work up the courage. Time is the one resource you can't earn more of. You can make more money. You can build new relationships. You can learn new skills, but you can't create more time. What you have right now is all you get, and every moment you spend waiting is a moment you're choosing not to spend living. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for fear to disappear. It won't. Do it afraid. Do it imperfectly. Do it now. The graveyard is full of people who were waiting for the right time. Don't join them. Start messy. Start scared. Start today. Because waiting is the real risk you can't afford to take. Those choosing action over waiting affirm, I start today. Number 10. This moment is your proof. You've been looking for proof that you're enough, that you're worthy, that you matter. You've been searching for it in achievements, relationships, validation, success. Scanning the external world for evidence of internal worth, and every time you look outside for what's only found inside, you come up empty. But here's what you've missed. You already have all the proof you need. It's not coming. It's here. You're experiencing it right now. The fact that you're reading these words is proof. Proof that you survived everything that tried to break you. Proof that you're still looking for answers, still growing, still trying. Proof that something in you refuses to give up, even when giving up would be easier. You're here, still breathing, still standing, still fighting for a better version of yourself and your life. That's not weakness. That's proof of your strength. That's evidence of your resilience. That's the victory you've been looking for outside yourself. Every breath you take is proof you're alive. Every challenge you've faced and overcome is proof you're capable. Every time you got back up after falling is proof you're unbreakable. Every moment you chose growth over comfort is proof you're committed to becoming more. You don't need external validation to know you matter. You don't need achievements to prove your worth. You don't need other people's approval to confirm you're enough. The proof is in your persistence, in your presence, in the fact that life has tested you repeatedly and you're still here. Living as if you've already won means recognizing that you are the proof. Not what you've accomplished, not what you own, not what others say about you. You, your existence, your journey, your willingness to keep showing up even when it's hard. Stop waiting for some future accomplishment to validate your worth. Stop believing that when you finally achieve that thing, you'll finally feel like you've made it. You've already made it. You're here. You're conscious. You're trying. That's the whole victory right there. This moment, right now, is all the proof you need that you're exactly where you need to be. Not behind, not ahead, here. In this specific moment with this specific experience, learning what you need to learn, becoming who you need to become. You've been treating proof like something you need to earn, but proof isn't earned, it's recognized. And once you recognize that your existence is proof enough, everything changes. You stop performing, you stop proving, you start living. The evidence of your worth isn't waiting in your future. It's written in your past and present in every moment you didn't give up, in every time you tried again, in every breath you take that says, I'm still here. I'm still trying. I still believe there's more for me. That's your proof. That's your victory. That's everything. If you recognize your own worth, state, I am enough. You made it to the end, and that matters more than you realize. Most people quit halfway through anything that challenges them, but you stayed. That tells me something about who you are. Living as if you've already won isn't a mindset trick. It's a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and move through this world. It's understanding that the scoreboard you've been watching doesn't determine your value, that the race you've been running was always against yourself, that the win you've been chasing has been available every single moment you chose to show up as who you really are. You don't need more time, more resources, more credentials, more permission. You need to stop waiting and start claiming what's already yours. Your power, your voice, your life, your right to exist fully without apologizing for taking up space. Everything we covered today is useless unless you use it. These aren't concepts to admire, they're principles to live by. Starting right now, starting with the next decision you make, starting with how you speak to yourself when you close this video. The world needs people who've stopped performing and started living, who've stopped waiting for permission and started giving it to themselves, who understand that victory isn't about having everything, it's about needing nothing external to feel complete. You've already won, you just needed someone to remind you. Now go live like you believe it. If this video shifted something in you, don't let that shift die here. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who's tired of feeling like they're losing. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. Subscribe to this channel because we're building something real here. You've already won. Stop waiting for external proof. Start being the proof. Seal your commitment with this. I live like I've won. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Now go claim what's yours.